Imagine paying $7.5 million annually just to walk out your front door safely. This is the staggering reality. Our youngest billionaire faces this constant financial outlay. Their life is a gilded cage, a very expensive one. The pedestal comes with an immense price tag. A life of immense wealth often means immense expense just to exist. Privacy becomes a mythical creature. It vanishes under a relentless glare of public scrutiny. Paparazzi follow their every move everywhere they go. Their homes are targets. Social media dissects their outfits, their words, their friends. Every detail is fair game. A recent study revealed 90% of ultra-high net worth individuals report significant privacy loss. This leads to profound isolation. Imagine never truly knowing who sees you for you. It is a constant performance for an invisible audience. This erosion of personal space takes a heavy toll. Security costs are simply astronomical. A dedicated personal protection team can easily cost upwards of $2 million a year per individual. For a prominent figure, this often translates to a team of 6 to 10 highly trained agents. These include expert drivers, skilled bodyguards, and advanced cybersecurity specialists. Armored vehicles, each custom built, add another half a to $1 million each. Secure residences with state-of-the-art surveillance systems cost millions to install. Ongoing maintenance alone runs hundreds of thousands annually. This is a perpetual financial drain. The average cost for a top-tier protection detail for a high-profile individual can easily exceed $5 million yearly. For a global figure traveling across continents, the cost could even double to $10 million or more. Cybersecurity defense for personal and business assets represents another significant expenditure. Preventing breaches, identity theft, and digital espionage costs millions. This includes constant monitoring. Legal challenges are also a relentless torrent. Protecting a vast business empire requires armies of lawyers. Litigation for intellectual property alone can exceed $1 million per case. Defending against frivolous lawsuits, a common occurrence for the wealthy, often demands significant legal fees just to dismiss. Personal reputation management adds another substantial layer of legal and public relations cost. Crisis public relations firms charge hundreds of thousands for a single engagement for damage control. Hourly rates for top lawyers can easily exceed $1,500. Maintaining a clean public image in the digital age is an exhaustive and incredibly costly battle. It is an endless legal and PR war. Protecting their brand is paramount. Taxes consume immense portions of accrued wealth. Capital gains taxes can take 20% or more of investment profits. Estate taxes in some regions can be as high as 40%. This applies to assets transferred upon death. Consider a net worth of several $billion. The tax bill alone runs into hundreds of millions, sometimes billions, of dollars. Philanthropy expectations also rise exponentially. Ultra-wealthy individuals are consistently pressured to donate. This is often viewed as a moral obligation. Many give millions, some give billions. Establishing and maintaining a private foundation can cost several $100,000 annually in administrative fees alone. This becomes another unavoidable fixed cost. These are not always voluntary contributions. Pressure is immense to give back. Relationships suffer deeply. Trust becomes an almost impossible commodity to find. Friends and partners are often suspected of ulterior motives. Studies suggest 70% of billionaires report difficulty forming genuine connections. Loneliness is an alarmingly common companion. Family relationships can also strain under this unique pressure. Siblings might feel overshadowed or develop profound resentments. Children face extreme pressure to succeed, to live up to an impossible legacy. This can be an incredibly heavy burden. They are often targets themselves. Even romantic relationships are frequently subject to rigorous prenuptial agreements. These can certainly protect assets, but they can also destroy intimacy and trust. Divorce settlements for billionaires can reach hundreds of millions of dollars, even billions. The emotional cost is immeasurable. Genuine connection is rare. Mental health issues are surprisingly prevalent. The constant pressure of maintaining a vast fortune causes immense stress. Isolation fuels anxiety and depression. 49% of founders experience at least one mental health condition. This statistic often worsens significantly for those reaching extreme financial heights. Therapy and specialized wellness programs become essential. Even these require substantial investment. A private therapist specializing in high net worth individuals might charge $500 per hour or more. Exclusive retreats and specialized mental health care can cost tens of thousands. The emotional toll is undeniable, a hidden wound. The pressure never truly stops. Time itself is no longer their own. Managing a multi-billion-dollar enterprise demands relentless work. 80-hour work weeks are common, often more. Public appearances, media interviews, and board meetings fill every calendar slot. Personal time becomes a rare and expensive luxury. Vacations are often mere working trips. This leads to severe burnout. Private jet travel costs millions each year. The operational costs of a single mid-sized private jet can be $4 million annually. Staffing, personal assistants, chefs, pilots, household managers adds millions more to the annual payroll. The price of the pedestal is steep. It extracts a toll on every single aspect of life. Financial independence does not mean freedom in the way most imagine it. Becoming a billionaire sounds like the ultimate win. But then the numbers change, your life changes. It is not just about having money, it is about what the money demands. The very first thing many young billionaires face is a massive tax bill. Federal income tax rates for high earners in the United States often reach into the high 30s or even 40% range. This is just one layer. Then there are state income taxes. Some states like California have rates approaching 13%. Others, like Texas, have zero state income tax. But you might live in a high tax state. Capital gains tax comes next. When you sell assets, stocks, property, or your company shares, those gains are taxed. Long-term capital gains are often 20% for high earners. This is on top of a 3.8% net investment income tax. Imagine you just sold part of your company for, say, $1 billion. 40% goes to federal income tax, 13% goes to state tax, 20% for capital gains. It is a complex web. The sheer amount of money involved creates a huge target. Everyone wants a piece. Former business partners, distant relatives, strangers with what they claim are legitimate grievances. Lawsuits become a constant threat. One legal team is not enough. You need multiple teams, specializing in different areas: corporate law, tax law, intellectual property, privacy law. This is a major expense and a major time drain. Meetings upon meetings with lawyers, reviewing documents, preparing for depositions. Your schedule fills up with legal battles, not with innovative ideas. Public scrutiny intensifies immediately. Every decision you make is amplified. Every purchase is analyzed. Every statement is dissected. Social media becomes a minefield. Paparazzi follow your every move. Privacy evaporates, simple errands become public spectacles, a quiet dinner out is impossible, your personal life becomes public property, security becomes a critical concern, wealth attracts unwanted attention. Kidnapping threats, extortion attempts, stalkers, you need a dedicated security detail, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This means bodyguards, secure transportation, armored vehicles, private jet travel for safety, fortified residences, security systems costing hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. The annual cost for a top-tier security team can easily exceed $3 million. This is not a luxury. It is a necessity, a constant reminder of the danger. Then comes the pressure of philanthropy. Society expects you to give back. And generously, the Giving Pledge, initiated by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, asks billionaires to donate at least 50% of their wealth. Even if you do not sign the pledge, the expectation is there, which causes more stress. Where to give? How much? Is it truly making a difference? Setting up foundations requires more legal work. More staff, more oversight. It is another business in itself. Managing hundreds of millions or billions in charitable giving is a full-time job. Trust becomes a rare commodity. Who truly likes you for you? Who is just after your money? Every new relationship is scrutinized. Every old friendship is reevaluated. This leads to profound isolation. Your circle of true confidants shrinks. You become wary. You build walls. The world feels like it is closing in. Many young billionaires report feelings of loneliness, even with vast resources. They struggle to find genuine connection. People see the billionaire, not the person. The responsibility of managing such immense wealth is staggering. It is not just about spending. It is about preserving it and making it grow. Diversifying investments is crucial. Real estate portfolios, equity funds, hedge funds, venture capital. Each requires research and oversight. Hedge funds often charge a 2 and 20 fee structure, 2% management fee, plus 20% of any profits. For a $1 billion investment, this is $20 million annually in fees alone. Before any profits, the market volatility can be a nightmare. A global recession can wipe out hundreds of millions or billions. Overnight, the pressure to maintain and grow wealth is immense. It never stops. The mental toll is significant. Sleep deprivation, anxiety attacks, depression, burnout, the constant stress of being under the microscope, of making high-stakes decisions. Your personal life often suffers relationship strain. Hobbies vanish. The empire demands all of your time, all of your energy. The very thing that brought you so much initial joy, building your company, now feels like a heavy chain. The dream becomes a relentless master. Islamic teachings also shed light on wealth. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Wealth is not in having many possessions, but wealth is being rich in spirit." This wisdom suggests true richness lies beyond the balance sheet. For a young billionaire, finding spiritual peace amidst material abundance is a unique challenge. The Quran warns against the distraction of worldly possessions. Surah At-Takathur speaks of the competition for worldly increase diverting people until they visit the graves. This provides a different perspective, a spiritual burden added to the financial ones. The constant internal struggle to remain humble, to remember accountability. Managing employees becomes a vast undertaking. Thousands of people, perhaps, their livelihoods depend on your decisions, their families, their futures. A single wrong strategic choice could impact thousands of jobs. The relentless spotlight had intensified, not diminished. Every decision now carried the weight of public scrutiny. Financial journalists scrutinized every quarterly report. They dissected every investment choice. One prominent business magazine declared that the margin for error was now effectively zero. Investors demanded perfection. They wanted constant growth. They expected exponential returns. The company's stock value was under perpetual observation. Analysts published daily commentaries. These often felt like personal attacks. Social media amplified every whisper of doubt. Negative headlines spread like wildfire. Anonymous online forums buzzed with conspiracy theories. Some accused financial wrongdoing. Others questioned ethical practices. The sheer volume of digital noise was overwhelming. A specialized firm was hired to monitor online sentiment. Their reports showed a consistent increase in negative mentions, from 300 daily mentions to over 1,500 within 6 months. This was a 400% jump. The media's portrayal shifted subtly. Initially, it was awe, then it became curiosity. Now it felt like a hunt. Public perception became a fragile asset. A single misstep could trigger a storm. Public relations teams worked around the clock. The annual budget for crisis management alone exceeded $10 million. This was a stark contrast to zero a few years prior. There was the incident with the private jet. A routine flight to a business conference turned into a national scandal. Critics pointed to environmental impact. They highlighted wealth disparity. The news cycle ran the story for 3 days straight, despite transparent explanations, despite carbon offset purchases. The damage to public image was significant. Then came the government inquiries. Regulatory bodies began to take a closer look at the company's market dominance. Antitrust concerns were raised. Subpoenas arrived demanding extensive documentation. Legal battles consumed hundreds of hours. The constant threat of litigation hung heavy. Security had become a necessary burden. The threats were no longer theoretical. There were 3 recorded attempts to breach personal data, each one more sophisticated than the last. Cybersecurity costs soared by 200% in the first year alone. Protecting digital assets was a 24-hour operation. Protecting physical safety was equally demanding. The presence of security personnel was a constant reminder, a physical barrier between me and the world. Every outing required meticulous planning. Spontaneous moments became non-existent. Even simple tasks like grocery shopping required a detailed risk assessment. The cost of a dedicated security detail exceeded $2 million annually. This new reality bred an intense sense of solitude. Old friendships began to fray. The dynamics changed. Friends from college struggled to relate. Our lives had diverged too dramatically. They had normal jobs, normal concerns. I lived in a gilded cage. Conversations became awkward. Invitations stopped coming. The fear of being used was palpable. New acquaintances were vetted relentlessly. Every smile, every handshake carried an unspoken question. Were they genuinely interested in me? Or in my wealth? This constant suspicion was exhausting. A study by Merrill Lynch indicated that 45% of high net worth individuals felt isolated. This was higher than the general population. It resonated deeply. The mansion felt less like a home and more like a fortress. The silence could be deafening. Dinners alone became a routine. The vastness of the space amplified the emptiness. Even family relationships became strained. Some relatives saw opportunities, others felt left behind. It created awkwardness, it created distance. Dating became an impossible task. How could one discern genuine affection from opportunistic ambition? The answer was often one could not. Trust was a luxury rarely afforded. The emotional toll was heavy. There was an underlying hum of anxiety, a persistent feeling of being watched. A deep longing for genuine connection, for someone to see beyond the title, beyond the money. Survival became the next challenge. It was not just about maintaining the empire, it was about maintaining myself. Mental health became a priority. Regular therapy sessions offered a safe space, a place to process the unique pressures, a chance to articulate the unspoken fears. The therapist helped build coping mechanisms. She emphasized resilience. A structured routine provided an anchor, early mornings for exercise, running 6 miles a day, daily meditation sessions for mental clarity, reading books not about business, but about philosophy, about personal growth. Islamic teachings provided solace. Remembering Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him's humility, helped recenter values. Learning to say no became a crucial skill. Saying no to endless requests, to investment pitches, to social invitations that felt draining. Setting boundaries was an ongoing battle. It was essential for preserving energy, for protecting mental space. Philanthropy offered a powerful sense of purpose. It was a way to channel resources for good, to make a tangible difference. A $500 million endowment was established for climate research. Another $100 million went to supporting disadvantaged youth in tech education. These initiatives were not about public relations. They were about impact. Wealth changes everything. It rearranges your entire world. The zeros multiply your worries, not just your bank balance. Imagine private security teams. Not just 1 or 2 guards. We are talking about an entire operation. Protecting you, your family, your assets. An average high net worth individual might spend $250,000 yearly. A billionaire often spends several million. This includes 24-hour surveillance, armored vehicles, safe rooms, cybersecurity experts constantly monitoring digital threats. It creates a gilded cage. Every new person you meet becomes a potential liability. A gold digger, a blackmailer, the sense of isolation deepens. Trust becomes a luxury you can barely afford. Your oldest friends might resent your new status. Family dynamics shift. They expect a handout, or they treat you differently. The weight of expectations is immense. Everyone wants a piece of you, your time, your money, your influence. You find yourself hiring people to manage these relationships, a team of personal assistants. Public relations experts, lawyers, endless lawyers. Consider the environmental footprint. A billionaire's lifestyle is inherently carbon intensive. A private jet journey from New York to London can emit 66 tons of carbon dioxide. That is more than the average person's annual emissions. A super yacht, many are over 200 feet long. They burn hundreds of gallons of fuel every hour. Their environmental impact is staggering. Maintenance alone costs millions annually. Fueling, staffing, docking fees, these are not just numbers. They are real resources consumed. Real burdens on our planet. Then there is philanthropy. It sounds noble, it often is, but it is also a huge responsibility. Deciding where to give your money, ensuring it makes a real impact, avoiding scams, building an entire foundation, hiring staff, measuring outcomes. It is a full-time job. Billions have been donated, yet poverty persists, climate change worsens, education gaps remain, the scale of global problems dwarfs even the largest private fortunes. Your money is a drop. A very big drop. In a vast ocean, the pressure to get it right. It is immense. The mental health toll is rarely discussed. The constant pressure to perform, to grow your wealth. To maintain your image, sleep deprivation is common, anxiety is a frequent companion, depression can set in. The joy of acquisition, it fades quickly, you accumulate more things, but do they bring more happiness? Often not. Studies show happiness plateaus around $100,000 in annual income. Beyond that, more money does not equal more contentment. Instead, it brings a new set of problems. A gilded loneliness. Your identity becomes intertwined with your net worth. You are no longer just a person. You are the billionaire. The label precedes you. It defines you. It dictates how others see you, how they interact with you, even how you see yourself. This makes it hard to form genuine connections. Friendships are suspect. Romantic relationships are even more so. Are they attracted to you or to your billions? The doubt gnaws at you, it corrodes trust. The administrative burden is staggering. Taxes, the taxes, not just paying them, managing them, international tax laws, estate planning, wealth transfer strategies, lawyers, accountants, financial advisors. A family office can cost millions annually to run. They employ dozens of highly paid professionals. Their job is to protect and grow your wealth, to ensure compliance, to navigate a labyrinth of regulations. It is a constant battle against attrition. Inflation, market downturns, geopolitical instability. Your money never truly rests. It is always at work. And so are you. Privacy is a myth. Every move you make, every vacation, every purchase, it is scrutinized. Tabloids, social media, competitors, activists. You become a public figure, whether you want to or not. Your children, their lives are impacted too. They grow up under this microscope with unique pressures. They may never know a normal childhood. They inherit a legacy of immense wealth and immense scrutiny. The opportunity cost. Managing vast wealth consumes enormous time and energy. Time that could be spent on personal passions, on family, on simple pleasures. Instead, you are constantly strategizing, mitigating risks, optimizing investments. The machine of wealth management demands attention. It demands sacrifice. You give up spontaneity. You give up anonymity. You give up the freedom to just be. Is that true freedom to be constantly guarded, constantly managed? Constantly judged, the responsibility weighs heavily. You are seen as a problem solver, an innovator, a job creator. If you fail, the impact is magnified. If your company falters, thousands of jobs are at risk. Your decisions affect entire economies, entire communities. The media amplifies every misstep, every perceived flaw. There is no escaping the public eye. No escaping the judgment. Some will always criticize your wealth, accuse you of hoarding, of exploiting. Even if you give billions away, they will say it is not enough. This is the true cost of zeros. Not just the financial outlays, but the personal costs, the emotional toll, the erosion of privacy, the distortion of relationships. The constant vigilance required. It is a life lived in a fishbowl, a life where the simple joys become complicated, where genuine connection is rare.